Keir Starmer has just suffered the kind of setback no Prime Minister wants to face. It's a blow that not only undermines his political authority, but also jeopardizes the carefully crafted image his party has worked so hard to build. This isn't a minor dip, it's a significant collapse. And perhaps the most striking element is who has overtaken him, and what that could mean for the immediate future of the Labour Party. What comes next could completely reshape the UK's political landscape. A recent poll by More in Common has sent shockwaves through Westminster, revealing that the Labour Party has dropped to third place nationally. Compared to the last general election, this shift represents a major retreat. Currently, just 21% of voters say they would support Starmer's party if a general election were held today, down sharply from the 34% it received last time. It also marks a stark contrast to earlier this year, when Labour was consistently leading in the polls. The survey, conducted between the 13th and the 16th of June with a sample of 132 voters, paints a worrying picture for the opposition leader. Labour has now fallen behind the Conservatives, who have reclaimed second place, and Reform UK, which is now leading. According to Luke Tyl, director of More in Common, the 21% figure matches the party's previous low point recorded at the end of March, shortly after the spring budget. At that time, Labour's support briefly dipped before recovering to 25% in May. However, following the local elections, the trend has reversed again, this time in a more sustained and serious manner. With this latest decline, Labour has not only been pushed into third place but now lags clearly behind the Tories, while Reform UK continues to consolidate its lead. Since late April, Reform has been consistently outperforming both major parties, indicating a steady and growing momentum under Nigel Farage's leadership. Reacting to the poll, Reform UK's deputy leader Richard Tice described it as another great result for the party, further boosting the sense of momentum heading into the next general election. But what would these numbers mean in terms of parliamentary representation? Using electoral calculus, a respected seat projection tool based on current polling data, the forecast is striking. If these figures were replicated in a general election, Reform UK would win an outright majority with a two-seat margin in the House of Commons. Meanwhile, Labour would face an unprecedented collapse, plummeting from the 411 seats it held in summer 2023 to just 129. This would represent a staggering loss for a party that, only a year ago, appeared to dominate the political scene. The projections also suggest that several of Labour's most prominent figures would lose their seats. These results point to a deeper crisis that has been building for months. In recent weeks, Labour has focused its efforts on trying to counter the rise of Reform. At the end of May, Keir Starmer used a visit to the Glass Futures facility to launch a direct attack on Nigel Farage's economic agenda, accusing him of pushing reckless proposals involving tens of billions of pounds in public spending, drawing comparisons to the short-lived and controversial policies of Liz Truss. However, the attack failed to have the intended effect. Instead of slowing Reform's momentum, it sparked an immediate counter-response. Then-party chairman Zia Yousaf dismissed Starmer's remarks and claimed Labour was clearly in panic mode. According to him, Starmer was showing signs of desperation, particularly with polling showing Labour trailing Reform by 8 points. And that poll was not an isolated outlier. Multiple surveys in recent weeks have revealed a consistent trend. Labour's lead has not only disappeared but is now in clear decline across several fronts. In short, the Labour Party is now facing a situation that would have seemed unthinkable just months ago. Reform UK has taken the lead, the Conservatives are regaining ground, and Keir Starmer's party is being squeezed from both ends of the political spectrum. Unless Labour manages to reverse this trend soon, this poll could mark the beginning of an even greater collapse in public trust, just as the next general election draws near. In other news, criminal networks operating along the northern coast of France have shifted their tactics. Human trafficking rings are now offering lower prices to those seeking to cross the English Channel. So-called taxi boats have been introduced, departing from more concealed locations, operating more swiftly, and charging significantly reduced fees, particularly aimed at those desperately trying to reach the UK. Instead of inflating dinghies on coastal dunes, these groups are now launching their journeys from more remote and hidden spots, often dozens of kilometers away from their usual launch points. The boats travel along the coastline, picking up passengers who wait waist deep in the water, areas where French authorities have limited capacity to intervene. Downing Street has acknowledged that the situation is worsening. Albanian gangs are reportedly offering crossings for as little as £2,000 per person, the lowest price recorded since 2002, as part of a summer promotion. So far this year, 16,317 people have made the Channel crossing, marking an increase of over 40% compared to the same period last year and setting a new record since monitoring began in 2018. Last year, only 630 Albanian nationals completed the journey, down from 940 in 2023. Many are now opting out, aware that upon arrival in Dover, they are likely to be processed immediately by the Home Office and detained with the prospect of deportation. Meanwhile, African migrants have shared with the BBC the dangers they face when attempting to board these taxi boats. A Somali woman from Mogadishu, named Luna, said she had tried to cross 12 times. She described repeated encounters with extreme police violence, including beatings, tear gas, and chemical agents that made it difficult to breathe. She also noted that the boats are often too far out at sea, preventing many women and children from boarding. She called the journey incredibly dangerous, particularly for those who can't swim, and said the fear of drowning is very real. The mayor of one of the local towns offered his view on the growing migration issue. He said the UK is still seen by many migrants as a land of opportunity. In his opinion, the British government must respond more decisively, as this is no longer just a matter driven by war or dictatorship, but by broader global challenges like climate change and economic collapse in several countries. He warned that a new wave of migration is building, and if action isn't taken now, the consequences could become unmanageable in the years ahead. At Westminster, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp launched a scathing attack on Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, accusing the Labour Party of failing to manage the current migration crisis. During Prime Minister's questions, Philp, MP for Croydon South, criticised Rayner for claiming the situation was under control, when in fact the number of illegal crossings so far this year is the highest ever recorded. He also addressed a question regarding the so-called wonder deterrent, clarifying that the plan was never actually implemented, contrary to what some may believe. And now we ask you, do you think the British government is doing enough to stop illegal Channel crossings? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to support the channel by liking this video and subscribing for more UK news. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.